Property investors in negative equity. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I hope you're having a good weekend. Grab your stein of coffee because there's an article here that I want to talk about that a few viewers have mentioned that I should have a look at because, well, it's right on the topic of property and investing, and, well, it just shows you how much property is seen as a path to wealth, success, and just building a passive income portfolio here in Australia. It's what everyone seems to go to. I can't say I'm at all surprised. It's part of our culture. It's part of our television shows. It's part of our political movements. It's all about property, guys. I wonder if any of the Australian fire people, financially independent, retire early. Not that you ever retire early. It's really financially independent and have freedom to do what you want. I wonder if those here in Australia are all on the property bandwagon, or if they're looking at passive income or other things, as in shares. So let's look at this one. A 22-year-old property investor impacted by the RBA rate hike. Now, for those of you playing at home, the cash rate has gone up. I have had to update this graph. For so long, I didn't have to. And it's quite dramatic, the increase. But it's still low. Rates are still very low, and people are already getting impacted and feeling it. So, like many young people, he jumped onto the property bandwagon just last year. But now the RBA's interest rate rise has put his dreams momentarily on hold. Now, the guy's 22 years old. A 22-year-old bloke can live pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. All the memes where, a guy can, the chicks are sending these around. A guy thinks it's perfectly acceptable to live like this, and it's a photograph of just, you know what? I'm going to find one. A guy can live like this. Let's see there. Here we go. Images. Here's one meme. A guy lives like this in an apartment. They don't see an issue here. Where is it? There you go. There's the picture. Know your memes, guys. Get me a big picture. There you go. This is what a bloke can live like. So 22-year-old property investor, maybe this is what you have to fall back to. Sell everything. Just live with a couch. Has he got an Xbox? He's even got a coffee table. This is luxurious. I mean, how many of you have lived in your 20s in a student apartment with your mates, house sharing somewhere? That kind of takes me back, to be quite honest. So, I mean, that's what a 22-year-old bloke can do. Can really cut back. So it's going to be interesting to see this guy's take on it compared to someone a bit older who maybe has a family, who maybe has a job and other responsibilities, and they can't live like the meme. So we'll have to see. But what's concerning is, 22-year-olds just getting into property. No, is he starting a business? What else is he going to look at? This is the thing. Everyone just gets into property here in Australia. And I can't blame them. I cannot blame them. Just the headaches, the issues, and the pain of being in business in this country. It's just going to get worse, guys. The more left Australia gets, the more socialist Australia gets, the more people call for government intervention, the harder it is to do business. So, Morgan Coutts has always dreamed of having 30 properties by the age of 30 and saw 2021 as the perfect time to break into the real estate market. The 22-year-old Melburnian bought not one but two investment properties last year and planned to sink another $1 million into real estate for 2022. But then interest rates started going up. See, here's the thing. He's probably heard of all of the people that have been doing this, but a lot of them got bloody lucky when they bought in. They bought property when it wasn't insanely expensive, and then it shot to the moon. We've gone through the stories again and again and again. A lot of it is timing. Now, the cash rate is at historically low levels. So is that going to be the best time to get into property? Because it's only got one way to go. You'll probably just have to wait it out, hopefully. He didn't fix his mortgage rates because the young investor was planning to dip into the equity of his existing properties to buy more. And that made staying on a variable rate a lot more practical. So that's the old trick. Equity, mate. Equity, mate. Did he not? Is this another person that expected rates to stay low until 2024? But after the Reserve Bank increased interest rates by 50 basis points on Tuesday, which brought the official rate to 1.35%, he is now reconsidering his plan. It's obviously not the most ideal situation, he told news.com.au. His property portfolio is around the $1 million mark, meaning he'll be paying an extra $300 a month following the Tuesday afternoon announcement. And it's only just started. These rate rises have only just started happening. I mean, for a borrower with a $1 million mortgage, the July increase will add $273 to their monthly repayments, bringing their total increase to $665 per month since April, according to Rate City. He is now saying he is considering switching to interest only to better handle the changes to his finances and might increase his rent as well. There you go. So here's the landlord increasing rent, which is what's going to happen, and switching to interest only. So people will do everything they can to fight to hold on to property here in Australia. Okay? You want to be a landlord class. That's the trick. That's the trick. During the pandemic, RBA Governor Philip Lowe didn't anticipate an interest rate rise until 2024, something many property investors, including Mr. Coutts, were counting on. But in May, the RBA took the step of hiking the rates for the first time in 12 years, and after the last two monthly meetings, since have done the same. The third back-to-back rise of 50 basis points for June is the largest increase since February 2002 and follows a 25 basis point rise in May. The number of Australians suffering from mortgage stress is set to skyrocket, especially for those who entered the market between November 2020 and May this year, when rates sat at a record low of 0.1%. And July's hike won't be the last, with experts predicting a cash rate of 2% by the end of the year. Almost 1 in 3 Aussies who are borrowing or renting say they won't be able to afford housing costs if the Reserve Bank lifts the interest rate as much as it is expecting to in the coming months. I mean, I've got another article I want to look at where builders are starting to increase their costs. They're padding their quotes to ensure there's a buffer to protect themselves. We've got a construction apocalypse now, people going bust left, right, and centre. And those that remain are going to charge more for it. Because, well, the whole market, guys, the whole market was overheated by the government coming to the rescue, not zombie companies. More so home builder. You can see at the bottom here, and all the ways they juiced the housing market. So, what's going to happen when you've got supply or ability to increase supply significantly reduced due to builders collapsing? Then you have those that are still remaining but increasing their costs for new builds. Do you think there's going to be more or less demand for existing established housing? And what's that going to do to housing prices? So, he admits he wasn't expecting rates to rise so soon, but knew it was a risk when he wanted to invest in the real estate space. All investors can do is take it as they come and ride the waves. That's all you really can do. It's always going up and down. People are very quick to freak out. The alternative is to just not invest because interest rates will go up. Well, the problem is, guys, it's so easy for a 22-year-old here in Australia to get $1 million, access to $1 million to build a property portfolio. Would he be able to borrow $1 million for shares for even a blue chip company? How much would he be paying there compared to housing? Or even for a business? 22-year-olds starting a business. What if you wanted to start a business to borrow the money? How much more of a pain in the ass would that be? But for houses, it's good as gold, mate. It's Australian. So there's some real fundamental issues here in Australia, and I don't know if it's going to change in our lifetime. People are hoping for a huge crash and a big correction. I don't know if it'll be that dramatic as people are hoping. Sure, there'll be some people, that'll get in trouble, that'll get burned out of the market, that'll learn some invaluable lessons. He's 22. He should be fine. He should be able to push through it one way or another. Just work more. Work 2 jobs, do 80 hours a week to pay for your properties. So, he's been working at a property investment firm since he was in his final year at university and could see others getting to the market, so he wanted to follow suit. He set a goal of owning 2 properties by the time he turned 22, but didn't realize an interest rate hike was so close on the horizon. In May last year, he snapped up a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom property on the outskirts of Melbourne for $467,000. With a salary that scraped over the 6-figure mark, the aspiring property investor who lives at home with his parents. It's always living at home with your parents. I mean, that's just how it is, guys. That's an advantage people have. At 22, why not? If he can live there. Because, you know, if you're living there building a property portfolio with your parents, when your parents get old and need help, you've got to take care of them. That's the deal. So he was able to secure a loan from his bank and also pay a 10% deposit, as well as lender's mortgage insurance. 2 months later, in July last year, he scored his second property, this time in Ipswich, Queensland, for $485,000. Since his purchases, I'm surprised Ipswich is probably... I've not looked at Ipswich in a while. I guess it's getting more expensive too. Since his purchases, the combined value of his portfolio currently sits at $1.2 million after the gains the market made last year. Property is expected to decrease in value in the next several months, however. But, I mean, think about it. In Queensland, we've got a rental crisis. So he's not going to have any problem of renting out Ipswich. You know? And he'll just up the rent to help offset his costs. While the Queensland property remains positively geared, there you go, the Victorian one is now cash flow negative, so he can negative gear it. He is currently in conversations with his broker to see how he might go about moving onto an interest-only payment plan. I tend to stick to variable rates, and that way I don't need to break fixed rates, Mr. Coates explained. Well, you've been doing it for 1 year, mate, okay? It's obvious it obviously has an increased cost to get that released in equity sometime in the future. Well, how long are you going to fix? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? However, he stands by his decision because otherwise, he claims, he would have dead money sitting in his properties. I'm willing to take that money out of my properties to have the equity building, he said. The 22-year-old added, I have a very, very strict budgeting system. I just don't spend that much. You don't need to. You live at home. I mean, 22. Good on him. Good on him for giving it a bloody go. You know, now's the time. At this age, you want to try this type of stuff when you're young. Because at worst case, if it falls over, you just dust yourself off, get up, take the lessons you've learned, and go ahead. That's the thing. If you want to do this stuff, you do it when you're young. Anyway, even with this system for saving money, the rising cost of living, as well as this new mortgage squeeze, has made it more difficult than before to pay his bills. To save himself money later down the track, when he has more investment properties, he's planning to sign up with an app called Rent Better. Is this supplied? Rent Better? What's Rent Better? Are they paying for this? It's a self-serve property management platform that reduces the cost. Okay. Getting rid of the real estate. Yeah. The company claims to save $2,000. We'll see if that works. We'll see if that actually works. So, guys, I mean, there you go. Let's have a talk about this one. I mean, 22-year-old, getting in there, living at home with his parents, got a decent income, above average. Good on him. You want to make these mistakes when you're young, everyone. You want to get out there and give it a shot. Worst case, he may have to sell one of the properties. Queensland's still negative gear, ditch Melbourne, or you just do the meme. Well, he doesn't even have to do the meme, guys. He doesn't even have to do this because he's living at home. So he kind of has it even better than this. So there you go. It's always that, isn't it? It always is. But you're going to have some of them that are in negative equity, guys. What do you reckon? Do you feel sorry about the property investors? Do you think there'll be a flood of them on the market? But you've got to remember, we've got rents going to the moon. So they'll be able to increase their rents. There's no easy answer. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I find and talk about here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can support the channel via YouTube or Patreon, use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Oh, that's good. Good cheap. This is one way, cheap coffee, guys. Oh, well, good luck to him. Hopefully he'll get his 30 properties.